Okay, get ready, because we're about to connect two worlds you probably never ever think to put together. The high-octane drama of 1960s motorsport and the super meticulous high-stakes world of making medicine. It sounds crazy, I know, but it's an incredibly powerful way to understand one of the most critical ideas in any industry: building resilience.
So picture this, the 24 hours of Le Mans. This is not just some race. It's a brutal, non-stop battle. It's machine against machine, driver against pure exhaustion, and everybody against the clock. For 24 straight hours, one tiny mistake, one single mechanical failure, and that's it. It's all over. This is the absolute summit of endurance engineering.
Which brings us to the big question, right? What on earth can this world of screaming engines and burning rubber possibly teach us about the clean, quiet, highly regulated world of pharmaceuticals? Well, you're about to find out. And the answer is pretty much everything that matters.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll look at what racing can teach us about resilience. We'll dive into why you have to test, don't guess, why controlling every single change is non-negotiable, and how true improvement only comes through iteration. We'll see why endurance always beats speed, and finally, what the ultimate win really looks like.
All right, first up, test, don't guess. You know why? Because whether you're building a high-performance race car or a pharmaceutical process, assumptions are your absolute worst enemy. Real, lasting success is always built on hard data, never, ever on guesswork.
And here, the parallel is just perfect. On one side, you've got driver Ken Miles. He was basically a human data sensor, relentlessly pushing that GT40, feeling every little vibration to find weaknesses. On the other side, in the Pharma lab, we're doing the exact same thing, just with different tools. We use things like engineering runs and deviation trends, not to point fingers at a person, but to truly understand and improve the system itself. And you know, this whole thing is a constant loop. We run validation batches, we do continued process verification to gather that hard data, we look at trends whenever there's a deviation, but it all feeds back into one central idea. When something goes wrong, you don't blame the operator. You use the data to fix the system.
And that leads us perfectly into our second big lesson, the discipline of detail. Because once you've built a system based on data, you have to protect it. In any complex process, one little uncontrolled change can cause a catastrophic failure.
In the movie, you see the total chaos that happens from last-minute corporate decisions. Decisions made over the heads of the people who actually know the car. Those uncontrolled changes almost cost them the entire race. But in pharma, let's be honest, the stakes are so much higher. An unmanaged change isn't just a risk to a product, it's a direct risk to a patient's life. It is one of the single biggest threats to quality we face.
And we mean everything. Modifying a piece of equipment, adjusting a single parameter, even just changing the supplier for a raw material. Every single one of those things has to go through a strict, documented change control process. Why? So we can fully understand its impact before it has any chance of affecting the final product.
Okay, so if we're testing everything and controlling every change, how do we actually get better? Well, that brings us to our third principle. We do it through iteration. Excellence, whether it's in a race car or a quality system, doesn't just happen overnight. It's the result of relentless, step-by-step improvement.
Believe it or not, the Ford GT40 started out as a total failure. It was unreliable, it was even dangerous. But the team didn't just scrap it and start over. They iterated. They found the single biggest weak point, the brakes, and they solved it. Then they moved on to aerodynamics. After that, the engine. It was this disciplined, methodical march towards victory, tackling one problem at a time.
And in a pharmaceutical environment, the results of that same iterative approach are just as clear. You can actually measure the improvements. Your overall equipment effectiveness, your OEE, it goes up. The number of deviations and errors drops. Your right first time rate, which is how many batches you make correctly without any rework, it just keeps increasing. This is how you build more than just a process. You build a true culture of quality.
And building that culture brings us to our final and maybe the most important lesson. See, Le Mans isn't a sprint. It's a 24-hour marathon. And in high-stakes manufacturing, just like in racing, the goal isn't just to be fast. The goal is to last.
This quote right here, it says it all. I mean, what good is it to be the fastest car on the track if your engine explodes on lap 4? In the same way, what good is it to meet your production goals for 1 month only to fail a critical inspection the next? It's a short-term win that leads to a long-term, devastating loss.
So this is what it actually means to build for endurance. It all starts with robust, deeply understood processes. It demands highly trained people who can execute them flawlessly. You absolutely need disciplined change control and a strong system for corrective and preventative actions, a CAPA system, so you can learn from every mistake. And all of it is held together by ongoing monitoring, making sure that system is always in a state of control.
So let's tie this all together. When we look at this incredible race team through the lens of pharmaceutical quality, what is the ultimate win? What's the real lesson here?
It's this. If you try to optimize without the discipline of data and change control, you're heading for a breakdown. If you push for speed without a solid foundation of quality, you're creating unacceptable risk. And if you put any system under pressure without the structure to support it, you are guaranteeing failure. Because in our world, the finish line isn't about beating a rival or winning a trophy. The real win is delivering safe, effective medicines to the patients who need them. Every batch, every vial, every single time. That is the only victory that matters.
And that leaves us with one final thought. In a world that is constantly screaming at us to go faster, to do more with less, how do we hold on to the discipline to make sure that what we're building isn't just fast, but that it's resilient? How do we make sure we're always building for endurance?